The city of Valthara burned with the crimson light of warships above. Human Relief Officer Daniel Cross had come to help civilians escape. Not to fight, yet fate never asked permission. Amid the chaos, he heard the terrified cry of a child echo through the smoke-filled market. Without thinking, he ran toward it. A small alien girl, scales shimmering silver blue, huddled under a broken stall. Around her stood raiders, mercenaries of the Karth Dominion, armored giants with curved plasma blades. Daniel shouted for them to stop, but they only laughed at the fragile human in dusty gear. When the first blade came down, Daniel moved. His shield arm caught the strike. Sparks flew and pain tore through his nerves. Then another blow. And another. He took every strike meant for the child. 8 in total, before his body finally collapsed. The girl's scream echoed as darkness swallowed him. When Daniel awoke, he was surrounded by strange architecture, obsidian walls carved with golden runes. The air hummed with energy, and 2 massive figures stood beside his bed. Warriors in ceremonial armor, not Karth, but something nobler. Their eyes, deep and glowing, studied him with disbelief. "You bear 8 wounds of the Blade Oath," one said. No human should have survived that. Daniel tried to sit up, but his body ached like molten metal. The little alien girl suddenly ran into the room, throwing herself at him. "You saved me," she cried. The warriors exchanged glances and bowed to him. "Human," said the taller one, voice heavy with reverence. "You saved the daughter of High Marshal Sarath of the Voran Legion. By our law, your act binds us in eternal debt." Daniel blinked in confusion. "Debt? I just didn't want a kid to die." The warrior's hand clenched into a fist. "You have no idea what you have done. The Voran never bow to outsiders. Yet today, every sword of our legion will kneel to you." The door opened. A woman entered, tall, armored in living silver, her eyes glowing like suns. The High Marshal herself. Her gaze pierced him. "Human Daniel Cross," she said softly. "You took 8 blades for my child. The universe will remember your name." Outside, the warships of the Voran turned in orbit, and every banner lowered in his honor. Daniel Cross lay in the crystal-lit chamber of the Voran capital, trying to make sense of the storm that had followed his act of mercy. The medics said his body had been rebuilt using living nanite, flesh, alien technology far beyond human science. Yet every time he moved, he felt the weight of invisible eyes. Soldiers, nobles, even priests came to see the human who had taken 8 blades for a child not of his kind. The High Marshal Sarath visited him again, this time without her armor. Her expression was unreadable, the face of someone who had commanded empires. She stood beside his bed in silence for a long time before speaking. "In our history," she said, "no Voran warrior has taken more than 3 blade oaths without dying. You took 8 for one who was not even your own species." Daniel managed a faint smile. She was just a kid. That was enough reason. The High Marshal studied him with eyes like molten stars. "Among the Voran, saving another's child binds blood to blood. You are now of my house. My soldiers will guard you until the stars fall." Before Daniel could reply, the doors opened and 6 towering warriors entered, each one wearing armor marked with crimson crests. Their leader bowed deeply. "We are the Blade Wardens," he said. "Our oath is now yours to command." Daniel's mind spun. Construction worker turned relief officer now had an elite alien guard sworn to him. "You don't have to—" The Blade Warden interrupted, his voice steady. "Your sacrifice binds the oath of 8. Refusal dishonors us. Until your final breath we serve." Outside the window, Daniel saw crowds gathering, thousands of Voran kneeling, chanting his name in a deep, resonant chorus. What had he done to deserve this? He had not meant to be a hero, but here he was, caught in a wave of alien honor he barely understood. Later that night, the High Marshal spoke again, her tone quieter. "There are those who envy what you have done. The Karth Dominion sees your act as an insult. They fear what it means, a human commanding loyalty beyond species." Daniel frowned. "Let them fear. I didn't do this for power." Sarath gave a rare smile. "And that is why the Voran will fight beside you." Outside, the stars shimmered, the calm before the storm that his courage had awakened. The storm finally came. 3 days after Daniel Cross was declared an honorary son of the Voran, the sky above their homeworld split open with fire. The Karth Dominion's war fleet had arrived, hundreds of ships, descending like a swarm of black wings. Their message was simple: return the human or face annihilation. Daniel stood on the balcony beside High Marshal Sarath. his arm still bound in silver bandages. The city trembled beneath the roar of engines, and Voran soldiers lined the platforms below, armored ranks gleaming, banners rippling in the electric air. "They want me," Daniel said quietly. "They want to erase what you represent," Sarath replied. "A human who carried more honor than their entire dominion. To them, that is poison." Daniel's heart pounded. He had never led troops, never even fired alien weapons. But when he looked down at the Voran legions, thousands who now carried his crest beside theirs, he knew there was no turning back. The Blade Wardens approached, kneeling before him. Their leader placed a glowing sword in Daniel's hand. "This blade is bound to your courage. It answers only to one who bleeds for others." The invasion began before dawn. Fire rained from orbit, striking the city's shields. The Voran countered with sky spears of light. Daniel fought alongside them, each strike guided more by instinct than training. He moved not as a soldier, but as a man protecting his family, and for the Voran, that was enough. When the Dominion's flagship broke through the clouds, Daniel was already aboard one of the strike carriers. The Blade Wardens followed him into the storm. They breached the enemy hangar, blades humming, cutting through armored soldiers like wind through flame. Daniel reached the bridge, wounded but unyielding. The Karth commander faced him, a towering creature of iron and hate. "You are nothing," it snarled. A fragile ape playing hero. Daniel raised the glowing sword, its light reflecting in his blood-stained eyes. "Then let a fragile ape show you what humanity means." The duel was short but fierce. When the final blow struck, the commander fell, its armor cracking like glass. The Dominion fleet began to retreat, their will shattered. When the smoke cleared, the Voran banners rose again. The crowd chanted his name, Daniel of the Eight Blades. High Marshal Sarath approached him, her voice soft but strong. "You came to our world as a stranger," she said, "but you leave as the symbol of what honor truly means." And among the stars, the legend of the human who took 8 blades for a child spread, a story whispered in every world where courage was remembered.